Ons is vanoggend bevoorreg om gesels met Jackie May. Want die African Textile Talks is aan die gang binnekort en dis 'n geleentheid wat Twyg Suid-Afrika tesame met Imiloa Collective Mauritius aanbied om Suid-Afrika se tekstielekosisteem bymekaar te trek en te gesels oor die volhoubaarheid en die van herwinbare praktyke in die bedryf. Ons gesels vandag met Jackie daaroor. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning. How are you?
Great, thank you. Lovely having you here with us. It's such a wonderful initiative. As per always, we enjoy anything that is for sustainability and for the improvement of an industry as a whole in South Africa. And this is made possible through the Textile Talks, African Textile Talks. What is the African Textile Talks, and since when has this been going?
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and hope you're all having a good morning. During COVID, I watched an international conference about sustainability and fashion, and I was a little bit disappointed and horrified that there was so little conversation about Africa and African designs and textiles and all our wonderful raw materials that we produce here. So I just had a bit of a madcap idea, and along with a colleague in Mauritius, we launched Africa Textile Talks, and we did the first two over Zoom, and then this will be our.
Your theme this year is a thread with care. Explain a little bit about that.
So, I just feel that the fast fashion industry and the fast fashion industry and the textiles is, and polyester and nylon and all the synthetics that are polluting our environment, and just generally the world is in such a state of war and awfulness. And there's so much beauty that we can do and create with textiles. People are planting and taking care of the soil, and people are spinning and weaving. And in Africa especially, it's micro businesses and it's women and it's smallholder farmers. And there's so many people working in the space that we don't shine a light on. And in South Africa, we have, industry and big manufacturers, and we need to grow those, and we need to employ people. And there's so much we can do in this industry if we take more care and if we do it more intentionally. So that's just what I want to achieve. That was what the name's about. And along with our talks, we're also hosting an exhibition to really shine a light on what can be done, with natural dyes, with indigenous plants, with what we have in South Africa with weaving studios, big and small. It's not only small, but it's also bigger ones. So there is so much beauty and so much wonderfulness that we are seeing coming out of South Africa and from our friends across the continent. And I don't think we talk about it. We don't recognize and acknowledge and celebrate that. Obviously there are lots of challenges, but that's why we want to get together to discuss that as a collective.
What are some of the challenges that the Africa Textile Talks are going to focus on, specifically when it comes to sustainability? I mean, you refer to the entire industry, from the farmer all the way through to the processing and the design and the sale and the whole industry around it. What are some of those sustainability challenges that we are facing?
So sustainability from just a business perspective, it's how do you keep your business going when there is such an influx of cheap alternatives? And I think, that is a global problem, and it especially affects us. So what do we do? How do we position ourselves? Do we focus on the fact that we produce the most wonderful natural animal fibers, which we do? I mean, why do we export them? Why don't we process them here? Process and finish and export finished goods made out of mohair and wool. And there's really so much energy being put into those spaces. And I've seen the growth. I mean, 20 years ago, I wouldn't be able to buy a beautiful jumper, but now I can from so many different designers. So that's on the business perspective. But then from a environmentally sustainable aspect, we've got to really think about what the fast fashion industry is doing. And as I said, we're seeing so many synthetics, and now almost 70% of the clothes we wear are made out of plastic. And there are conversations about what takes up less, how many carbon emissions are released while you make a cotton T-shirt versus a polyester T-shirt. But at the end of the day, polyester and other similar synthetics release microfibers into the environment, causing havoc in the environment, both when we wash them and then what happens to them at the end of the life. Where do we send those clothes? What happens to them? We can't recycle them into other clothing, so they get downcycled, they cause trouble I've just heard recently from a friend who works in recycling. One of her people that works in her factories with downcycled polyester, which creates a fluff to go into sleeping bags. One of her staff had a terrible allergic reaction to it because of all the toxins in that fluff. And that's, these are problems that we have to handle and address.
Wow, that is incredible. You also said teamwork is important in order to change the textile industry. So what are some of the partnerships this year that you take on? We at Twyg really depend on our partnerships with our partners, because as a media organization, ultimately, and doing these events and getting people together, sharing knowledge, we just want people to understand what other people are struggling with. Here, let them share their solutions, see how partnerships can form. Last year at our Africa Textile Talks, or it might have been the previous year, some of the big retailers met with SAPI, and together they are collaborating to work with waste and create a new T-shirt combined with SAPI's fabric, which is made out of wood cellulose, which is the wood is harvested in South Africa. So those collaborations and beautiful things happening when you do bring two people together are really, really important. I've always believed that the most important SDG is SDG 17, which is about partnerships, because we need to share and collaborate and grow the answers to our problems together.
African Textile Talks is also part of the UN Fashion and Lifestyle Network. It's important to be connected to other initiatives across the planet and to be part of a group, like you say, be part of the partnerships of the sustainability of partnerships. How does this connect you with making a bigger impact?
Well, I've been following them for a while, so it's quite an honor to be part of it. So thanks for picking that up. But through that organization, we are now just part of an ecosystem where we get sent regular emails and updates about what's happening, and invitations to attend events. So we're quite a recent member. So if you ask me in a few months' time, I maybe will be able to give you a better answer. But for now, we're very proud and very excited to be part of that network. And just looking at the caliber of other people in that network, many of whom I know that there's going to be a lot we can learn from being in that space.
In the long run, what do you hope African Textile Talks achieve?
I would like to see, in terms of the networking and the collaborations that happen, we also had a beautiful example. Yes, I'm just going to quickly just talk about one more, and then I'll tell you why I'm excited about this year's ones. So we had a wonderful organization speaking about bark cloth, which is a traditional cloth and way of harvesting bark in Uganda. And we had this wonderful academic who came and spoke about it. And in the audience, we had a local designer, Good, who then subsequently partnered up with them, and they created this beautiful garment and took it to Paris Fashion Week at the beginning of the year. And that really, and also the Mekeke design from Uganda got a job working for a luxury hotel chain across Africa, producing their home decor. So, those things just warm my heart, and I would love to see so much more of that. I also love the fact that we're growing an ecosystem across the continent, because I think in South Africa we tend to just be quite separated from what's happening on the rest of the continent. So what we've done is create connections with people in Uganda, Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria. Last year we had a speaker from Senegal, and just growing that ecosystem. I think it's not only really interesting, but I think it's good for us to see what's going on and how people are producing and making and And I would just like to strengthen those ties.
That's wonderful, because alone you're not going to do it eventually. We all have to do it together. Thank you so much, Jackie. We've run out of time, but it's wonderful chatting to you. And best of luck with the African Textile Talks. And I hope all the initiatives really make a difference on the ground and in the industry in South Africa. Thank you.
Baie dankie.
Nou ja, daar het jy dit. Nee, wat 'n lekker inisiatief. As ons terugkom na die advertensiebreek, dan is ons nie kombuis.